All right, everyone, I think I have my mic on correctly today, and I'm ready. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Katie, Chrisella, Ari, Sarah. So glad that you guys are here. Hi, Cameron. That's my hubby downstairs. Hi, Peg. Hi, Francine. Wow, we got quite a few of you here today. Francine, I'm so glad you could make it today. I know it's been a challenge to get to the lives. And it's a good day when you're able to make it, so that's awesome. Well, I'm just going to let people get rolled in here, and I'll talk about some basics for just a couple minutes. For those of you who pop in and are new and never heard of PanPastel, PanPastel is a soft, ultra soft, fine pastel. It's in these cakes, and PanPastel is the brand name. There's really nothing out there like it. They're really high quality, and you're basically painting with pigments using these wonderful soft tools. These are my favorite. This is the oval soft tool. I'll be working on a sanded pastel paper, and it's UArt 600 grade dark. Comes in multiple grades. The higher the grade, the smoother the paper. The lower the grade, the rougher the paper. So the lower grades are mostly for stick pastels. I do a lot of my painting mainly with PanPastel, and then I work it in with pastel pencils and some sticks for embellishments and things like that. Hello, Annie. Welcome. I think this is your first time here in chat, all the way from Buenos Aires. Wow, that's amazing. I love how this connects us from all over the world, right? So right now I have the piece up from where I left off with last Tuesday, this Tuesday, and it's been a really fun piece. We've blocked it all in basically and got our colors down, and that is a journey in itself. And I got really into the light up here and put the light in, and I just really love incorporating light into my work. And I'm going to show you what tweaks I made on Wednesday. And for those of you who are new, I share the full process in my Pastel Insider membership. Many of you here in live are Pastel Insider members, but if you join the membership, you get access to the line art for this piece, for all my, I think this is my 6th Pastel Insider week for getting the full lesson and behind the scenes. You get behind the scenes of the beginning and how I started, and the middle, and some finishing work that I don't usually show on live. So it's a lot of fun, and it really basically turns each piece into a full lesson instead of a demo, and you get the big picture and everything. You also get, as a Pastel Insider member, you get full access to all of my online classes, and if you're a member, those classes, the future and present, and all of those are included. So it's a great deal for those of you really diving into PanPastel and soft pastel. I do all kinds of different demos. And so yeah, if you're interested, I'm going to put the link in the chat and you can check it out. We got Audrey Kidd from London. Wow, that's amazing. Let me get my link in here. Oh gosh, no, I didn't put that wrong one in there. Let me see here. I thought I put maybe the wrong chat. So here's the Pastel Insider link if you want to learn more. You can definitely learn more about it. And then I just also released my Cosmic Creations class and my website, and that's a huge class. It's got 3 lessons. It's got a warm-up, lots of goodies in there. Definitely check that out too while you're there if you're interested. So we've got, oh, Eris came. Hello, Eris, welcome. Luis is here, Audrey's here, Janelle. Oh, we're all rolling in, you guys. We got 21 of you in here so far. I'm really stoked that all of you have come. And I just love sharing the magic of this amazing medium with you all. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you where we left off. This is the printout I have. And those of you who come all the time, I know you're going to help me out. If it gets to about 3:25 and I haven't showed you the before and after, you got to scream at me, okay? Because there's been a couple I haven't shown how far we've come. And the reason why I show these before and after is because our brain can only take so much in. And these before and afters are really powerful because you might not think I've done a lot of layering and a lot of changes, but layering is a superpower. It definitely creates a lot of interest and depth. And right now this is pretty much in a more stained glass look. My work definitely evolves into the initial layers looking like stained glass, and then I spend time bringing it all together. So I decided to bring in some mist, of course, because I love mist. And I know some of you will be sad that the polar bear is gone. I know a lot of you saw the polar bear where his nose and the eye and he had a little claw back here, but abstract painting, that is the fun thing about it, is so many people can see some fun things in it. And but I really like the mist, so I showed how to do this on the behind the scenes on Wednesday. And then I'll probably be bringing some more in on the side. And I'm just going to warm up by working on this tree trunk. Now, the other thing I did was I wanted to create a little bit more dimension in the rocks. And if you can see, the rocks, I feel were really flat. Even though I kind of want to go with that abstract look, they're a little flat and there's not a lot of definition between things. And I kind of felt like I wanted to have that. So I put a little more definition. I added a little bit more burnt sienna in there. Used the extra dark. And the other thing is I felt like this part right here was just sitting on top of the rock. And this is supposed to be, in my vision, part of the rock. So when you add a lot of value and push it back, it separates it. So I brought those planes together. So all of those planes are in the same level here. And so they're a little bit more balanced out. So you can see how I put in some values in there and kind of broke up the rocks. Let me check in with chat here. I see some chatter here. I broke down and joined Instagram and then realized you already had an account that I've never, oh, that I already had an account that I've never used. You're my first follow. Oh, that's so sweet, Chrisella. I'll have to go check it out. Ping me so I'll follow you back. Karen's got in. She had to try 4 times and watch an ad every time, was beginning to think I wasn't going to join today. Huh. Yeah, I know the ads kind of hit in the beginning and sometimes it does that. It usually pushes through, so I'm not sure what's going on there. Hopefully that doesn't happen to you anymore, Karen. All right, I think I've said hi to everyone. So glad that you guys are here. So the flowers, because I did push a lot of this back, the flowers are a little bit where they stick out, but I think with all my pencil work and things like that, I'm going to bring all that together, I think that's going to level out. So on the tree trunk and everything, I did add a little bit of the burnt sienna down here, and then I pushed it back with the dark because I really wanted that to be separate, like he's on some rocks with moss and all of that. So I'm trying to think of how I want to start out, and I'm just going to start building up some of these layers that I have already because a lot of this was the initial block-in stage. So I'm just going to add a little bit of color in here. I don't think I'm going to bring that purple up that high. I might put some down here. But I find that when you start out, you need to find, you know, something simple to warm up with so you don't get too, I don't know, scared to make any decisions and things like that. I think I might actually just go into the fox with some colors. So the other thing I want to work on is that all of this is abstract out, which I love, but I also want to bring some value into that. So I have this red iron oxide, which I love. It's totally, you know, to be quite transparent, I never use this red iron oxide. And when I would make foxes before, I would use oranges and burnt sienna. And then one day I was like, I need to play with this red iron oxide. It's really wise to play with some of these other colors that you haven't explored. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's such a beautiful color. And I want to balance this out with the red iron oxide. And I also want to put in the some value change in here. So I'm going to play around with that. So I have my, this is the, can't even talk today. The raw umber tint, which I use that quite often when I don't want to bring up the value too high, because you always want to have something to work with. You don't want to bring your value up so high where you have nothing to go from to bring out. So up here, I really want to keep my values where I still have some room to grow, like to bring out the light. So I did a lot of white around here because I know that's going to be my brightest spot because this is my focal point. So for this, I'm going to bring out, bring in some white because I'm going to make a tint. Now, if you have the tints, I have the whole set, but I can only show so much on here. But to make a tint, you just got to add white. Now, I mix directly on my piece, on my tool, and then I can bring some of that in here and bring up some of the value of that. And that's going to make this, if I work on it a little bit, it'll give this tail a little bit more punch to come up from the darks. So a lot of these blocking ins that I'm doing, I am doing the initial colors, but I know I'm going to put another layer on with value. And if the value comes up a little too high and it's a little cloudy, then I'll just add more of the color in there, and that will bring in the saturation. So just going to tap into some of these and get this fox going. I do want pink to be my pop, and so we'll just see how that evolves. When I put a tint in this red iron oxide, it really brings it up to a similar value than the pink I have in there, because I brought the red, the permanent red is the pink in all of this. Let's see. I don't have any posts yet. Well, that's fine. We can still follow each other. It says, darn it, apparently I'm experiencing a problem with my internet service and Wi-Fi. I had an email from the company. They'll be working on it off and on all week. Oh, I'm so sorry, Karen. Hey, oh, Stacy snuck in the house. Oh, thank you, Stacy. I'm so glad that you're here. All right, so I'm just going to go through and play with some of these spots here. And you're going to see that taking your time bringing these up is going to be really powerful in the end when I show you the before and the after. It's just a little bit of patience. Now, behind the fox, I want to keep that kind of a little bit darker because it's rolling back. So I'm going to just bump this up a little bit next to it here, but not go all the way back with it. And then I can bring in pencils. And you can see how that's going to bring out the neck a little bit more. And I'm using all of the abstracting in that I put in there as, guides to lead me around with what I need to maybe put a brighter color in. And I'll use pencils a lot for the face because it's a small face. I got another spot here. So we're just getting warmed up. And whenever, the biggest suggestion I can give people is that when you're getting started, and warmed up, just do something that it's just like a test, answer all the questions that you know first. That suggestions help me with a lot of things. But you can see on the tail right here, I'm going to round that out. And I'm going to put a little bit more of the tint in here. And that's going to bring this tail and make it puffy. It's slow, but these subtle changes are really impactful. And you can see how it's already doing that as we speak, right before your eyes. It's magic. This medium really is magical. I mean, if you got in, and for those of you that have been really using it a lot, it's just really an amazing medium. Number one, you can just start off whenever you want. You don't have to wait for things to dry. You don't have to mix paints. I love that about it because I've done all that. And I was going to take this white spot out, but I have a plan for it. I am going to put stripes over it with the pencils. So I'm just bringing it up. I'm going to keep that where it's going back in the shadow. In shadow, I'm not going to go crazy over this spot, but I'm going to bring out my highlight closer to the light source. Is Peg here? Hello, Peg. Well, I've already said hi to you, Peg. You're just saying hi to everybody else. Yeah. I love how many variations of red there is in this fox, from pink to cadmium red, orange, etc. Thank you, Eris. Yeah, I'm gonna play with his eye up here. I'm gonna darken that a little bit and play with his face. I wanna see what that looks like. Oh, Francine. Yeah, Peg was the featured student work in my new student showcase in my newsletter. I'm going to be reaching out to a few of you guys. I wanted to start doing something like that in my newsletter to celebrate your guys' journey. And Peg has done almost all my classes, and she's done a lot of the insiders too. So I just love how she executed the frog. And if you guys want to be in the featured, definitely join my Facebook group and you can post your work in there. I'm going to try to do it once a week. Something new, something new. Okay, so I'm closing the gap up here, kind of bringing up the muzzle. Pearl's here. Welcome, Pearl. I really wanted this to look separated with the swoops I have in here, so I'm going to leave under there. I'm not going to touch that as much, but a lot of this stage we're cleaning things up. We're breaking down the darks. So I have white down here. I'm going to put the white over my black, and the white is we want to use that where the light's coming the most. Now, when the light's hitting this, there's not going to be that black line as strong. So I'm going to bury that a little bit. And as you can see, I kind of jump around a little bit because I see things, and that's how I get guided. So we're thinning down these black transitions because that light's hitting. Oh, I love that you guys are celebrating Peg. Dawn, I got really brave this week and erased the whole corner of a painting and was working on to redo it. Took some courage. Way to go, Francine. You guys, this paper is so flexible, so easy to erase. For those of you who really haven't seen that, you can just erase the whole sections in here and start over. It's not, that's the freedom of it. That's the thing I want you to walk away with, is the courage to do those things. And so, way to go, Francine, for going outside your comfort zone and erasing something. But you can see how easy it is to cover this up. And I had someone on my social media, one of my social media accounts, it's like hard to keep up sometimes, but they were like, what do you do to fix it? You know, it's going to smear. And this doesn't really smear that easy. Like if I go over it, you know, there'll be some in there, but it'll come on my fingers. But sanded paper is really strong and it holds the medium so well that it doesn't just blow off. You know, I've tried to hose these off, and the hose in the water does not even, it just takes the whites off and the rest is stuck there. So I'm going to play with a few, let's see, let me get the rest of this in here. I'm going to figure out what wand I have. I'm going to go behind this ear a little bit. And so I load the edges of my wand, if you can see that. And this wand is really powerful when you can use all the different edges. You just have to commit to being a little uncomfortable when you're learning to use them. And then after a little while, they just start becoming second nature. So I'm trying to smooth out this transition right here. Okay. And I can add a little bit of black in there if I wanted that to go a little darker. So I'm just trying to fill any gaps in that I'm not sure about. I think I'm going to go actually a little bit of red right here on the hip. I might close that gap a little bit with the white. I like putting that, you can see it's around the whole thing where I have dark going back, but there's certain areas I like to close that and open it. And I could go in with pencils and make that a little bit more stronger. I'll switch in between wands when I'm live because I know I'm going into different colors and I don't want to erase them fully. So I'm accenting that hip right there. I feel like I got quite a bit of the colors in. I got a few down here that are gaps. So when I get those initial colors in, I have some gaps in the paper. And so I'm just cleaning those up. I can do that with pencils too. Oh, and I wanted to get this white down here. So whenever I'm using pure white or getting into the raw umber tint, I'm going to use a different wand right now because what happens is it will muddy the work. You can wipe them off pretty good, but I don't want to deal with that. So I have a couple wands in my hand. And I constantly like to look through my camera to see how it's, you know, translating. I think looking through your camera is really powerful. It's also really powerful to look through your camera and switch your, you know, view to black and white so you can check your values. Okay, a couple little spots up here. Okay, I'm gonna need my, oh my goodness, don't tell me I've hid it somewhere. My awl, or I don't know why I keep calling it awl, but it's really a maul. But I have it. Oh, it's right here in front of me. I got this. We're live, people. This is real. So I get everything out, but sometimes I'm like, I don't have it all in one spot. Or I think I put it all there and then I can't see it all. Okay. I see there's, I don't know, I think you guys can see some of this. It looks pretty dark and I don't mind it going a little dark, but I think I might even put a little bit of the burnt sienna extra dark in there. But I just like to cover the paper up. And that might look good for some of the shadow parts in here. Just put a little bit of that burnt sienna. Let's see what that looks like. So it's not a full black, but it's going to darken that because I really want to bring out the light the most. So you can see how that tucked the leg back a little bit. I can put some in the shadow of the tail on the edges, and that's going to curve the tail around. I think I might bust out some of the pencils and see what starts to feel good, you know, like I have this 283, it's a Pitt pencil. I'm gonna see what the colors come out. That's more of a brown. Now, I don't have all my stuff color swatched. I just don't have the patience for it. I just use it, and I find that really works for me. I want a little bit more of a burnt sienna, so I'm actually going to go get the russet that I've been using. And you know, if you don't have all these colors, the Carbothello set that I suggest, the 48, has quite a few really great colors, and you can get pretty close with it. The russet is the burnt sienna. I can just use that too. The burnt sienna is the 670. And this is, you know, right here with the burnt sienna and the red iron oxide. It's right in between there. So, and it's actually called burnt sienna. So I can go in here and start filling in any of these gaps and cleaning up things. Because I'm all about right now is getting the transitions and cleaning those up. Now, if I want to go a little lighter, I'd probably have to pick a lighter pencil. I do want to go a little darker into the eye here. I can bring it back out again, but I want to see what that feels like. So I'm going to play with that a little bit. I think I'm going to like that better. And I also have I'm going to go into the thing with a russet, the medium russet. I have a medium russet. This is a Caran d'Ache. They're extra soft pencils. And like I said on Tuesday, I didn't really love them at first, but I'm kind of, you know, definitely getting where I really like them. This isn't much difference than the burnt sienna though. Like I'm looking at it and I thought it would maybe up the value just a hair. So I'm going to play around and try to find a pencil. This one is a 675. I'm thinking this is the French red ochre. It is. So I think this is a little brighter. Yeah, that's a little brighter. And once I find what I'm looking for, then I'm going to start hitting things with it. Not like literally hitting things with it, but I will. You'll see I move around the painting because I want to pop up the value. I think I could also really get away with using a peach in here. So that's next. But with the eye, I was thinking I want to indent it just a little bit, but just where it hits on the outside of it. So I have that shadow pencil. I might just try to use my favorite shadow pencil because I hate when I'm like squirreling around for my pencils. But I'm just going to put a little bit of darkness on the eye right here on the corner. And I'm probably going to go back and forth with it a little bit. And then I can use my black, kind of bring that point out. And then I want to tap into the eye a little bit if I want to, you know, make it a little bit bigger to fill that up. Because to me, the eyes are like my favorite part. I love the eyes. So if I'm going abstract, I will spend time on the eye more if there is some type of figure in that for that. So I'm just trying to and they don't necessarily, I'm just going to make the iris a little bit bigger, and I'll probably have to put its spark of life back in there. Because when you take the spark of life out, you got to put it back in. I don't love using white for that, like I said, but with this, there's a lot of layers in his eye already. So I'm going to use the white. And when you put that on, don't feel like you're stuck with it. You can go back and forth and get that iris back in there. And I'm going to use the burnt sienna again, the 670, and smooth this out a bit, because pencils are meant to be layered. They're not meant just to stay on the one layer and like that's it. Like they're meant to kind of have their layers. I'm going to put a little reflection underneath the eye. Okay, I'm feeling better about the eye. I still feel like I want to put a little bit of shine in it, like maybe with the like an orange, like just hit it just a little bit. That's probably, I don't know if you guys can see that detail, but I'm just playing around with that. Let's see. Oh, Sherry's got music. Hello, welcome. I think it's your first time in chat. Welcome here. The power of the eraser, secret insider tips. Thank you, Debbie. Welcome to chat today. Just check the newsletter. It arrives when I'm in snooze land. Love the piece too, Peg. So beautiful. Stacy, another t-shirt tagline. Oh, I love that. I got to catch up on chat. I'm sorry, I got really into the painting. It showed me how easily I can get too precious about what goes down first, but watching Dawn follow her bliss each week has been so empowering. Oh, thank you very much, Francine. I really appreciate that. Ah, I've never thought of looking at it in a mirror. That's a great tip, Eris. Pastel pencil throwdown. Yep, I'm getting warmed up here. Yes, she is the one that taught the Procreate class. Dawn, you can hit it. We won't tell. That's funny. I'm a little behind. I'm sorry, you guys. Yep, this is a great group. This is a wonderful group. I think the thing out of this whole thing is you guys are making it pretty amazing. I don't think I'd be here if the community wasn't as amazing as it is. So I got this 191. It's a Pitt pencil. I'm just going to start putting some scritchy scratchies in, as I like to call them. This is more of a peachy pink, but this is how I just get started. You know, I'm like, I like this boldness of color around there. I don't want to take it fully away. I definitely want to go a little bit brighter here on the muzzle, but I'm going to make the transition here. Now this tooth is filling up. The thing I'm probably going to be able to get in it is maybe, you know, a brighter. I think I want to go a little brighter. I have this brighter, but it's too neon. So I'm going to use this portrait pink. And I also have this carmine. I think it's the carmine, the 311 carmine red middle. Let me see what this looks like in here. Yeah. The carmine red middle is definitely on the pink side. So I'm going up to that edge because I want that black line to go. As you see, it just went away. So now I can, you know, play with that. Now I have the portrait pink that I really love from Caran d'Ache. It's a 582. And that's going to bring up the highlight, as you guys can see. It's all about the layering. Well, I don't want to bring that back up when I just pushed it down. Sometimes you just get a little carried away. Just going to use that 675 and get rid of what I just put on there. I really don't want to push that. If anything, I want to push it back a little bit. I might use my shadow pencil. I just feel like it's too flat right there. I think that's better. And I think they kind of have this, I put this doodle there. I'm going to be fine with that. And then they also have these little flecks in their muzzle that I want to put in. I probably won't put the whiskers in because I don't think you'd be able to necessarily see them if you were that close. I don't know. We'll see how I feel about that. So those little touches I always think are really special and kind of make it look more foxy. And I'm going to combine some of these guys. So this is that portrait pink. It is the 582. Really love this pink. I want to get some scribbles in here. I don't want this to be all perfect. That's my goal. I build structure and then I'm taking it down. So if there's some lines I want to put in, I actually want to put lines in around that circle. Let me get my greens. This is the 575. I think it's the leaf green. I'm correct. I'm going to put some fun lines in here. And this is where I get to build up all that fun whimsy. And I didn't put too much green into the fox. I just wanted to have a few touches. So I want to bring this rock out because I want it to be looking like it's forward. I can even take my PanPastel wand, just go into a little bit of PanPastel. I have this bright yellow green here. I think this might be a little easier. I'd rather go over it with the pastel pencils. Pastel pencils really need to be last because you'll knock them down. But I'm going to bring this up while I'm thinking of it. And you're going to see how this is going to look 3D. So just watch how bringing up the value and then everything around it is going to start looking a little bit more shaped. Now behind here is shadow, so I don't really want to put much in there, and there's shadow, so I just really want this to pop out from this. So I'm just adding a little bit of that on like the rock here too. The top of this rock would probably be hit with the sun. Over here I got the moss, I mean the mist going, but I can still pop some of that over there. And so you're just trying to think about where that lighting's hit. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to kind of give the viewer the sense of what you want them to interpret to a certain degree. So this is the bright yellow green. It's the shade. It's not the full core color. And like I showed you guys on Tuesday, the full core color is like neon. Like that is really, really bright. So I'm not going to put anything neon down here. If I'm going to, I used it up here in the trees and around my focal point. And so that's where I want my brightest work to be. You don't want to go and put things that are really crazy bright. I mean, I have some bright flowers down here and all that, but this is kind of an abstract, but I'm not going to go and put a lot of that down here because I don't want it to be as bright. So I'm going to go in. I know that I want to put these stripes in on the fox's back. I'm going to use this brighter color, I think. This is the 675, which is that French red ochre. We got lots of red and red iron oxides and burnt siennas. So this is all in those kind of families. If you look at them over here into the palette, you can see it really fits in the burnt sienna family, but they all go together really well. So we'll see how this goes. I just think this would be a really fun pattern to put in. So my pencil is split on the tip. So just a second. Whenever that happens, I just massage it out with a sanded paper. I don't really want to put it in the sharpener again because it'll probably break that off. And you can see it's kind of, I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's double-edged that. I'm actually going to erase it and fix it because this is a very strong part of the piece. And if it's not right, it's just, I think, going to look, it's going to bug me. Let's just get real here. It's going to bug me. I'm going to fix it because I know it'll bug me. Now, I'm not about perfection, but if I can fix some things that I know that are going to bug me, then I'm going to do that. All right. So that was easy. Didn't, you know, when I know it's that easy, I'm going to go and do it. So now my edge is really thin and really nice. I got a great tip on my pencil. I rotate my pencil around to try to get the edges that I want. And that is going to connect him. He's almost going to, I think, going to look like a see-through screen, but you know what? This is abstract. We get to break the rules. There's no rules. Well, I mean, the rules with abstract is more composition, but I love those moments. Like that to me is really exciting. I love to put some other marks in there. I really like looking through onto my monitor. That's why you see me looking over. That's what I'm looking at, because for some reason I can see it better. This is so close to me. I really like looking at it on my monitor. I'm going to do some red right there. I'm going to use this is the Scarlet. I'm going to see, yeah. It's very much actually it's quite similar to this Carmine Light, the 311. Well, Carmine Red Middle. It's actually pretty close. I'm going to show you. I'm going to use the Carmine Red Middle. I think the Carmine Red Middle is a little bit lighter. So this is just where I get to start like adding some mark making and some whimsy. And I'm not like going, oh, is there going to be too much? No, I get to have fun. I'm not, I've set up my process, my style to, you know, I've leaned into being able to keep going. And I don't really feel anymore like things are overworked because I've kind of worked that into my style. I do think it has something to do with how much structure you leave and how much you take away, but and this is where you get to have fun. You just get to play around and make shapes and abstract them out. I really like this color. I think I'm going to put more of this right here. Francine loves breaking the rules. I do too. Hi, Karen. I'm going to have to watch the video later. Taken my system down a half a dozen times, cleared the cache, deleted all the cookies, and still having problems. I'm so sorry, Karen. Sending you a big hug. It's no fun when technology rears its ugly head and says, I'm going to be a bully. So I've told myself I really want this to be pink forward and have that be, you know, my dominant color. And so I'm just focused on that. I'm realizing I never really thought of the Scarlet as much of a pink, but when I'm looking at it with all of these, it's really leaning into more of a pink red, which I'm liking. So I'm just looking and evaluating and seeing where else I could maybe put that. I have the russet, the medium russet. I kind of want to bring some of that in the sides here. Definitely got some scritchy scratchies going on. But the pencils lead you into like abstracting moments, you know, like you can just, you'll start discovering what kind of shapes you like. And I'm going to close the gap on some of these in here. This is a really beautiful color too. And it really lends itself well with all the pinks. And so I'm gonna go in between these two and you're gonna see how it's gonna radiate out a little bit. And this one's on a little bit more of the orange side, which I'm liking. So I'm gonna do that over here. I'm gonna put some stripes in here. There's just all kinds of room for for different things. I might put another one of those stripe things in here, and I'm going to use that beautiful, I'm going to use this one, the carmine. So the 311, the carmine red metal. I got some stuff going on here and going around it a little bit, and then I'm just going to put some of those in. Now in design, you want to repeat things. So repeating things can be really strong in a design. And you can't see it as much on the screen, but I really think that it's a subtle thing. Like when your viewer comes up to your painting and is a little bit closer, they can really see that and enjoy it. Okay, trying to think of what else, how I feel about the fox. I think right up here is not bright enough, so I'm going to bring that portrait pink into the picture. Again, got to squirrel around a little bit for it, but I found it. So a lot of things you just can't see right away. And I'm going to probably bring some of the yellow on the other side. I'm going to link those together. So I'm just getting that line, that black line, and I'm burying it. So you can see how that just buried in, so it's not so harsh. And the black lines can be all, you know, wherever, but wherever that light is, I'm going to try to bury that. I have some yellow, a yellow pencil. This is a 210 and it's an orange yellow. I'm just going to bring a little bit of this in here and see what that looks like. I like the orange yellow. That's fun. I'm going to see where else I can put that. I usually like to touch a new color in at least a few different spots. I can't really put it down far, so I'm just going to, I might just put a little bit on the edge here to rim light the fox. And this is a just do some rim lighting there. Hi Zolly, welcome. I love how alive this process is. Thank you, Eris. Hi everyone, happy Thursday. Happy Thursday, Zolly. So glad that you're here. Yeah, the yellow is just, you just get those moments. So the more layering you do, the more little moments you get. I might just hit a little bit of this on the nose. And now I'm going to build up the nose a little bit. I don't mind the nose being more in the purple. I'm going to use this 99. It's the aubergine. And I'm just going to add some highlights to this nose area. Does it need to be perfect? I'm not really going for perfect. I'm more going for value and that it looks lit. And the cool thing is I have this other color that I love. It's an 83. The Caran d'Ache pencils, I don't suggest them as your first set of pencils. I mean, you do you. I mean, but if you're starting out, I do suggest the Carbothello 48 or whatever you can afford in a Carbothello, but the 48 is the most rounded. But these Caran d'Ache, I definitely am starting to fall more in love with them. I think the second set I got was the Pitt pencils, and those are a little more earthy than the Carbothellos, and they have a little bit more skin tone range and things like that. The Caran d'Ache is a full range. They have multiple like shades, and that is the one rare thing and unique thing about them is they just have way more range in them. So you can see this one is like a tint. So think of your colors, no matter if you're using pastel pencils, sticks, or, you know, PanPastel, they really have it spelled out for you, like you're using a tint. It just helps break it up in your brain because a tint is going to be in this highlight range. Oh, I just wrote on my actual thing, bummer. Oh, it wipes off. So you're going to be in your highlight range. And so whenever you think about these pencils, think about that you're going to be using a tint. All right. Have a great day, Eris. Thanks for visiting. Michelle says, hi, Dawn and chat. I'm having some problems as Karen. Loading system keeps popping. I have to click refresh. Very odd. Okay, well, is anyone else having some problems? The only thing I've changed on my settings should be on my end, and that is my my quality rate for my stream. I was trying to make the quality better, but other than that, I haven't changed anything. So I'm not sure what's going on. So I have this tint, it's the ultramarine pink, and I'm just going to hit the top of the nose here. And you're going to see how that just really adds a little shine. Aw. Okay, I'm going to use my white pencil and get rid of this little mark here. And I'm going to go around the nose with it. I know I already put the dots on there, but I want to put a little bit of highlight in there. My white pencil, I think I need to sharpen it. I'm just going to go over that dot. Okay. I have the 700, my favorite, then instead of using white. This is the 700. It's in the burnt umber family. And I'm going to go up here and just put some details in the ears, you know, to kind of get that little fur going. Now, I love abstract, but I also love incorporating some of the, you know, realism too, to kind of give you that whole experience. And I have a little fox that I'm trying to give those little tufts there. I'm going to bring in a little bit of this, the French red ochre. It's the 675, and I'm going to add some tufts here. I have this behind the ear that I think I want to highlight. So you can see how now we've brought out that little ear. Hey Cassie, welcome. It kept stopping for me, but I just closed down YouTube and reopened and it's been fine since. Oh, that's great. Cameron says there's no issue. Hey, Jel's in the house. Welcome, Jelly. Dawn, is there a list of Caran d'Ache that you have? I have them all. We'll make it easy. I have the whole list. I have listed in a short, if you go watch my shorts, I've listed some of my favorites, about 6 of them. But yeah, I love the Caran d'Ache, so I have them all. I hope that's not causing too many people problems. Dang, off to my physical, boo. I'll check the final part later. Don't have too much fun without Stacy. Well, that's can be hard, Stacy. We love having you in chat. You're a bright light, and I hope everything goes well for you today. Okay, so I have this darkness that I think I want to lighten up, so I'm just going to use this pencil. And you don't know exactly what all you're going to want to do, so this is just another flexible thing about it, is I might not have it all figured out, and I factor that into my whole process, and that's what I love about it. Now I have this darker pencil, this is the 700, And I'm going to flesh out these little swoops that I've made. I'll probably leave the lower one. Okay, I'm feeling good about that. And then I'm going to use this, the 675 again, and I'm going to put some stripes on here. I rotate my pencils to get that edge. So he's coming together, folks. I'm trying to think. I think in the center, I know I've got a lot of this red in, but I'm just really loving it. I think I like that better. Okay, I'm gonna grab a drink of water and then we'll see what else I might want to do on this guy. All right, I'm gonna look back, take a moment. I have a hard time doing that. I'll be asking for the holidays. What did I miss? What will you be asking for the holidays, Dolly? What did I miss it? Oh, Dawn. Oh, you're going to ask for the Caran d'Ache set for the holidays. That is a great holiday present. Good job. Good choice. Good choice. Any pastels are a great choice in my book. Okay, so I'm going to grab my like brighter peach pencil here. It's a 132. I also have, you know, I could actually use this one in the Caran d'Ache, I mean the Carbothello set. This is the pink. It's the 681, and it is the light pink tint. So it actually named it like a tint. I'm just gonna go up here in the flowers. So I'm just constantly trying to refine things and bring up the values, and that's what this stage is all about. And the power of layering, you're gonna see it can be really powerful. So I want a little more detail, so I'm gonna sharpen this pencil. I love my sharpener. I use the M&R brass sharpener for all of my pencils. I've tried the hand cranks and all of that, but it just doesn't work for the full around, like even the Caran d'Ache are really finicky. So I'm gonna lighten these little swoops up, or scallops I like to call them. I feel like this ear, I want to bring it in and have a ridge there a little bit more. And the other cool thing with abstract is you don't have to be as perfect with everything. So this isn't white, so it's not going to be so strong. And I can put some textures in there. I can just highlight the top of that. I think I like that. That looks really good. And going over this on some of the saturated parts, it's just going to mix them and bring them up to a tint too. And if I feel like I might have done too much, I can always just go back with the pencil and rub that back down, and then that's going to give you that balance. So this was that 311 carmine. All right, so I think right at the moment I'm feeling pretty good about the fox and where he's at. I have this plum pencil right here. It's a 105. They call it plum. I'm just going to go into the leg a little bit and clean this up. And then I'm going to take a darker pencil to shade it. I might even use black for that because, you know, they have these black paws, you know, little legs, but I don't want it to be solid black. I want it to be a little mix. So I'm just using the, you know, top and the bottom to create that value, and that's going to push that leg back a little bit. Yeah, so I'm feeling really good about Mr. Fox or Mrs. Fox. It could be either. You can go up here with the black. Just clean up some of these. They have that little tufts on their ears. I could go into these holes and break them up a bit if I need to. They just have it going down their ear a little bit. Okay. Now these little holes here, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to put some lines down those too. I think I might use keep it bright and then use this carmine pink, you know, this pinky red to do that. I feel like the holes are a little bit big. I'm going to see what this looks like with one of them, and I can always change it. Well, I might go with the portrait pink. So the reason why I didn't grab the portrait pink first is because it's a little bit challenging to sharpen this guy. I usually use it at a pretty dull rate. So I'm going to sharpen it, see if I'm going to be lucky today. I am. Got a good sharpen on it. And then I'm going to do the rest in the portrait pink. I'm going to go over this. So and this is all personal preference. I just really like bringing a lot of this pattern in. It's kind of my jam, so I think it tones down the black holes. You know, you still get the look of the scallop, but you're not going into the fox so deeply. Yeah, I really like that. I think that brings all of those little scallop holes up on the same plane and creates more interest. And I have a lot of those little stripes down on the tail, but I'm okay with that. It's kind of like the direction of fur. I'm trying to think of, I'm going to go with a really bright color on this. I'm just going to use this right on this rainbow. I got these stripes on here and I keep passing them up. And I want to get stripes on. I got to pick another one. I think I'm going to use the fox color. I'm going to use that russet. I think this is the russet. This is the medium russet. I feel like I'm missing another russet like I had. Let me just do a little squirrel, do a little squirreling. Here it is. Yeah, this is a brighter russet. This one's called, this is raw russet. So this is what I use for mostly the body, and it got buried. I really like this, but see, Karen Dash has quite a few. It had a successful sharpen, so I always got to celebrate those. But I'm going to use, it's a little bit richer of, yeah, it's got a little more orange in it. And I'm going to show you how I take these and put them down, and then I'm going to shadow them out so they don't look so flat. I'm going to use my shadow pencil. You can use a black pencil if you want. If you don't have the shadow pencil, you can use a dark brown, like a sepia. This is kind of like I think this is more in the sepia family. And I'm going really light. And then you're just going to hit these edges just a little bit so it actually goes with the curve. Now if I go and bring it all the way in a little bit, then I push it back with the pencil again, it's going to look a little bit more natural. I use the Carmine, the 311. So you're creating that blend. I can hit it a little harder right here in the center. And then I have the purple, I feel like looks pretty good. If anything, I could probably put a little bit more of the, use a shadow pencil down here on the cracks. And then I can bring that, I think it's the 105 that I used. We'll see in just a second. Let me see. Yeah. Now because these are softer, less is more. And if I want to bring that out a little bit more, I can just grab another purple or the pinks in the higher value. So this is a 99. This is that aubergine. And I can go in the center here. So I'm trying to copy what the actual rock is, that pattern in the rock. So because I have the portrait pink in there, I'm going to, or the pinks, it's actually the Carmine 311. I'm just going to tap this in with a little bit of this pink tint pencil, and this is the 681. And then for the russet spot, I'm going to pick that, this is the 675 that I've used around, and it is, I don't have them all memorized. I wish I did. I have a little chart here, French red ochre. You guys get that chart when I do a class. It's inside all the Pastel Insider ones things too. So you can see how I've now rounded that little rock and gave it like a special, you know, moment. I really like that rock. So for me, I want attention there because this composition is actually bringing your eye throughout the tree. It goes down and, you know, it's keeping you in there and keeping your interest in there. Testing. Typing, still loading symbol, have tried other channels and no problems, have restarted YouTube numerous times. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's the setting that I have on my thing, but I only have 2 of you that it's having an issue, so I'm not sure. Are you on a iPad? Just curious, an older iPad? I'm going to bring some of this Caput Mortem. This is a 642. Into some of the hair up on the, so I'm just having fun with the mark making. The green here, I'm going to bring this green up a bit. I'm going to use the leaf green. It's the 575. I have this flower in here. I want to start working on the flowers. I'm actually got really caught up in the fox. I have quite a bit of stuff to do on the ground and everything. So I'm going to use this, the 585, and this is the green, well, 580. It's the olive green. So I'm going to put some marks in here with the olive green and just get some fun mark making in here. I can bring some of this up to look like grass. I like that. So now my whole goal is just to kind of add another layer. to create some color harmony and create some interest here. Okay, for the tree trunk, I pulled some colors for that. I wanted to play around. I have this Caput Mortem, which is a 640, and this is the Caput Mortem of Violet. I thought this might be kind of nice to get some marks in here. I can even get my maul. Now I'll clean up these dots that the maul is made on the peas, but I can put some patterns in here. I like that. So it's a little bit different in contrast. I'm wondering if I go up one, if you can see that a little bit better. Yeah. And then I can, this Caput Mortem is really like a neutral. It's like a semi-neutral, I guess is what you would call it. So it's really helping me kind of with some of these transitions. And I like to rainbow things out, and so it's really helping with some of that. So I want to keep some of these lines in here, but I don't want them all to be so strong. I like to close the gap, so to sort of say, you know, like. And I also like to add more mark making and then I'm going to choose to go warmer up here. I'm going to put a little bit of this down here. I'm going to tap this off real quick. I got quite a bit of shedding, so I don't blow off in my studio because that would be all over. So I have a tray down here that I clean up, and I got rid of some of the shedding that was down here. So I just want to put in some little scribble marks. I can even put in some lines. Oh, I think I'm going to like that. So all of the stuff I've been working towards is building up so I get to play and do this. So this is my happy place. I'm going to use the plum, the darker purple. Purples are a little more challenging to find in the whole, all the colors and pencils, sticks and everything. So that just seems to be more of a challenging color. I'm going to use this plum here, and I'm going to maybe darken some of these flowers in the base of them. And I could bring that brighter red up maybe towards the tips. Let's see. Yeah. So I'm just carrying that around. This tip down here is really, really bright. I think what I'm gonna, well, let's just see what it, let's just use the pencils and see. So I'm actually going a little bit in reverse here, because when you start working with your composition, you're like, you know, that flower's a little bright there. So I'm going to push that down. I'm still going to make it look fun and interesting, but I want you to look at the whole piece now. Like, this is where that before and after is going to really shine, is you're going to see how that's going to shift things. That was pretty much a darker purple. Now I'm going to go to the brighter one. It's the 99. That's the aubergine. And I'm going to put a little bit of diversity here so I can get maybe some fun marks. And I can carry that up. Do some really light mark making in the petals here. I'm going to use this as a transition over here. These are a little bit closer to maybe being in the light, so I'm transitioning that up. And then I can use that. I mean, I think this is probably pretty bright. I might bring this down too, and I can just go over it, and it's going to create a little bit more of a cooler shadow, so it's going to push it back a little bit. I think I might push it back even a little bit more. That's the plum. And then it kind of has like a glow to it because it has so many colors in it. So I really like that. And I feel like that's, the bright flowers were fun, but you can see how flat they were. And now they have a lot more interest. I'm just checking to see. Well, thank you, Laura. Welcome. So glad that you're here. Well, I will put the settings back. I don't know if it allows me to even play with that right now. Let me just see if this allows me to play with it. So I'm going to apply it and tell me if this works. I hope it didn't do anything to the stream, but all I changed was one thing today, and see if that helps any of you, whatever you guys are working on who's having problems. That's the only thing I've changed in my stream, and I'm really curious if that solves your problem. I hope you heard that, Karen. It was doing the freezing thing for me earlier, but had to duck out. So yeah, I've put it. So some of you, so what it is that it might be that some of you have older software and some have newer, and some people have it set up, you know, where it might just be something like that. I've had it happen with iPads before on videos on my site. So that's the only thing I've changed. So I'm not sure what's going on today. It might just be an off day. I mean, I have everything else in, and I don't know. It could just be YouTube being funny. Okay, so I've got this leaf green. It's a 575, and I'm just going around with some of these brighter spots and touching the greens and getting my little scritchy scratchies that I like to do. I think I might transition this into the burnt sienna. So this is a 675. This is actually not the burnt sienna, it's the red ochre. And I want to put a highlight on the tree. I'm going to bring up this section in the tree. I'm going to grab the burnt sienna. This is a 670. And blend this in. It's a little bit bright, so I'm going to put the burnt sienna in to tone it down just a hair. And then I'm going to transition into the tree and get some marks in there. So now I'm just working on playing with the tree and getting that, you know, some fun mark making in there. Well, this is that raw russet, but it's a little bright for right there. So I'm actually going to use some PanPastel, and I'm going to go into this part of the tree here with the red iron ochre, and you can see how much smoother that is. I'm going to use some of the burnt sienna extra dark just to kind of break up some of the textures. I'm going to bring in, I have a darker pencil. Let's see here. I think I still want to use the ochre, but I could go a little darker. I'm going to try using a darker brown. So this is a 610. I hope I don't, it's a raw umber, so it's actually in this raw umber family. And I want to put some patterns in the flowers. And I got this guy too, which I'm going to bring that up. And I'm actually going to probably use some of this 311, that carmine, and I'm going to clean up this spot here. I'm going to put some God, I hope you guys can't hear that lawn mowing. It's pretty loud today. The people are mowing their lawn. Probably the last mow of the season. Just having some fun here, folks. Usually when I get a pattern in, then I'll add a little bit of, messiness to it. To what I'm doing is I call it marrying it into the piece, but this carmine red is really pretty. So I'm just basically evening out some of these spots here, and so I'd love to find an in-between between this orange. I think this is the orange that I use. I think I use actual orange, and this is the 221, which is orange. I have this, looks very much like this is the one. Yeah, I think this is the 215 was the Indian yellow. I don't think the closest I have that would be in between that is this 675, which is the red ochre. I might bring some of that in. I'm gonna play with the orange. I want to put some dots. I think I'm going to do some white ones. I'm going to use my white pencil, and I'm going to put a few dots and a few spots here. I'm going to take this is that, I can't get the name today. It's driving me crazy, guys. The French red ochre. It's the 675, and I'm just going to close this little hole a little bit more. These are all the little subtle moments. Oh. Karen, I'm really sorry. I think it's something on some of your guys' end. I don't know what to do to help you on that. I'm so sorry. I can't. We got so many people that it's working for, so there's nothing to really bounce it back on. Okay, Francine says, once you showed me how to use the M&R sharpener more carefully to get the tip of the pencil, it's been a big game changer. Sharpen point is huge. Yeah, you know, the other thing is that when using the sharpener is sometimes I find that I have to replace the blade quite often, and you need to buy replacement blades with it, because I probably replace the blade once a week or once every 2 weeks, depending on how much I'm sharpening. Because if I'm, I feel like I got pastel on my face, but if I'm, you know, using it quite frequently, I'll just change it more. And now I'm thinking about bringing some of the mist down here a little bit. I really like this, you know, kind of like a grass, this subtle grass right here. Just gonna put a few little wisps of that. And this is dark paper, so I'm gonna leave that. I don't not love it. I feel like around here I haven't done as much. So I'm going to play with that a little bit. I got some of these browns that I've brought out, and here's the one I want. It's a little bit of a warmer brown. It's a 625, and it's a burnt umber. It's exactly in this burnt umber family. I like to, you know, try to get the families, and I'm just gonna put some scratches in here because I love to do it. I'm liking the rock having a little bit more, you know, marks in it, so it feels like it's a ground cover, you know. This is where you just got to have fun. So I think I'm going to use actually the green and close those gaps here real quick. So that's something I didn't see. And so you're just going through, closing some of the gaps, doing some of the finishing work, playing with transitions. And that's what I'm doing right now. So I'm going to go down in here because I really feel like it just swallows your eye, especially right here. So I might not keep that. I might close it down a little bit, but I'm going to put these in here. This whole scallop pattern, I do it almost on everything. It's really subconscious. It's a pattern that I just discovered that I love. And it's very whimsical. So you can see compositionally, that's going to close those gaps just a little bit. If I want them to be a little bit more prominent, because that black was pretty thick, I'm just going over them again in a couple spots. And I'm just mixing in with this. This is that, this is probably one of my favorite. The olive green, the 585 is one of my favorite pencils. Okay, I'm gonna go here. It's all about the layering, folks. I like that down below even more now. So you can see, like, up here where there's some subtle lighting, I think I'm going to touch on that a little bit more. So my brain's just working through the composition as a whole, and I'm just trying to, you know, see these subtle moments. I don't like to do one spot all the way through, because what happens is like I miss these subtleties and these little highlights. So those are really, to me, pretty powerful, and you can overdo it pretty easily, I would say, with your values and the lighting. So I think that's the part I'd really like to be a little bit more conscious about. See how it's going to start looking even more. I'm going to put a little bit more here. You can tap it down with your finger a little bit. Yeah, like that looks like it's really reflecting off of the... So you get to have these realism moments, and you get to have all these abstract moments. So for me, I'm trying to curate the best world for myself that brings me a lot of joy when I'm creating. I don't, you know, if something's a little off and not so perfect, I get to be okay with that, because this whole technique kind of lends to that. So this is the 575, it's a leaf green. You can see I'm doing a lot of repetition. That's really strong in design. Once I get maybe even a pattern in there, I can mess it up a bit and kind of blend it in. Doesn't have to be so perfect. It kind of pushes it into the piece a little bit more. You know, I'm almost thinking, guys, that this spot right here, I think kind of takes away from the mountain of that it's sitting on. I want to try something out before we move, and I'm just going to erase it. And we're going to put some fog in here, and I'm just going to show you how maybe you know, it's a great pattern. I like that part of it, but maybe I don't want that there. Let's see if it accents the whole design a little bit more. Well, if you guys don't know this yet, I'm really grateful that you guys are here and allow me to do this, and I just have such a great time being here, and it's just wonderful to have you guys here today. Okay, so now you're going to see me transition that, and I think what I might do is create more of a boulder in here. Like, I'm gonna play with this spot. This would be something I would probably see later, but I'm just not loving it. Let's just see what happens if I make that dark and then bring a little bit of the green down through here a little bit more. Make it like, so that shows that that's there. I could even I think I like these guys just hanging out. Yeah. And you don't know that unless you try it. In the flow, people. I'm in the flow. I love flow. And what I really love is that I can get into flow and be live, because I don't think that is necessarily everybody's jam, is to paint live. I mean, sometimes I miss painting by myself a little bit, but I really love sharing it with you guys and inspiring you. So it's really inspiring. So I'm creating this to be a little bit more of a mountain now. I wouldn't know that sometimes when I'm drawing it all out. I don't have it all figured out, like I say. Oh, we're still, let's see. Yeah, I changed that setting back to see if maybe it would help you guys get back on. I didn't think it would affect you guys on your end, but I thought I would try something today and see if I could get the picture to be a little bit crisper. No one ever complains about the picture. I think that might be where I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, but hopefully restarting, if you guys, I would do that and it would probably work out just fine. Thank you, Michelle, for your kind words. So glad it's working for you, Karen. Thanks for pushing through for those of you that are having a little bit of problems on your end. Really sorry about that. You just don't know. Thank you for cheering everyone on, Michelle, to subscribe and like the post. It really helps my channel, you guys. Like, you wouldn't believe how much statistics are out there. And if you guys interact with things, it really bumps me up in the algorithm. Any of it, like on the shorts or the videos, liking and commenting makes a huge difference, because it's just telling YouTube that there's people interested. And I don't think it necessarily logs everyone when they're on live. It's kind of interesting. It almost like starts it over. So I'm going to push this spot back a little darker. I think I'm really happy with this decision, and I will adjust this on the line art. And that's another reason why, you know, sometimes I work through things and the line art gets adjusted before. So this whole piece, the line art and all behind the scenes is all going to be loaded in tomorrow. And then I send all my Pastel Insiders their own newsletter. They have their own communication that way. So I'm going to fade this out and make it a little misty. It does make that corner a little dark, but I'm going to play around with this. I'll bring up the plane of the mist a little bit and put a little bit of this mist in here and see if I like that. See how it makes me feel. That's what, and what that does is it's going to make the flowers and that background, it combines the plane. So if it's just a dark hole, then when I bring out the value up to the same as the flowers, like if you change it black and white, you would see that the mist and the flowers are closer in value and then they're on the same plane. So I'm going to get a lighter wand here and I'm going to bring a little bit of mist to carry down on the rock. And I wipe off constantly when I'm doing mist because it's going to pull some of what's underneath. So when you see me go out of frame, I'm wiping off. And wherever you hit down first, it's going to be the brightest. And you just want to hit, wipe off and then get it light so it fluffs out a little bit. Mist is patience. It's just learning how to play with the pressure and the values. It's a really fun thing to practice, like on another, sheet just by itself. So I'm loving the mist, folks. I'm hem-hawing about putting a little bit. I might bump it up against the fox a little bit right here. We'll just see what it looks like. Am I being cautious? A little bit. I just want to see what that feels like or looks like. So I'm all about how things feel. I like to follow my joy, so the red's mixing in a little bit on that. So I'm constantly wiping. I think I'm actually picking up some from my towel. So I'm going to build up these little. And that's going to create depth right there. And it's going to pull this forward. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to go bold. Whenever there's like a part I don't love on an animal that maybe maybe I'm not loving how it's looking, I will find a way to work it into something and cover it creatively. A lot of you have, I kind of like that he's touching the mist a little bit more. It's coming around his bottom, the bottom parts. This is a little dark here, so I'm probably going to just lightly bring it in. And then I could put a few more grasses right there. But see how subtle that is. I think I'll keep a little bit of that tension point in there. Happy little mist. We have happy mist. I always love Bob Ross. We have happy mist. We're putting in some happiness, some floaties. The dreaminess is what I'm after. I never thought I would be doing this though. I was telling someone the other day, I go, if you would have told me 4 years ago, this is where I'd be at and doing this on YouTube, I would have never believed them. I'd be like, no way. So now I would call this grounding. grounding is, you know, if you haven't heard of that term before, it's just connecting the subject matter with the ground and the piece. So it's a lot like what I'm saying when I'm marrying something, I'm grounding it. So you're connecting it. Like this mist is coming into the piece, and it is, you know, making this fox really connected to the rock and really connected to its surroundings. And I really find a lot of joy in that. What brand of kneaded eraser do you use? Mine seems harder. I use the, I have them all on my favorite supply list. And this is, I use a lot of Faber-Castells. Yeah, some of the off brands can be a little bit hard. I don't use kneaded erasers in this technique, but if you're talking about the black pastel, which I think that's where you are at, that's the Faber-Castell. So down below where it has the supplies, I have a link to Merry Artist. Thank you, Katie, for a great question. Well, for those of you who don't know yet, which most of you do, Merry Artist and we have partnered up, and you can save 10% off on all your art supplies. And they have some of the best pricing on PanPastel that I've seen. They're really, and they ship within the US. So I'm gonna leave this guy. I'm gonna leave this guy. I'm not sure. I think I want to smooth this out. So right now you're in that mode with me. I'm just doing a lot of finishing, and these little moments I find really make the piece sing. Like if I would have stopped, I think that would have been, you know, it just doesn't have all the depth if you don't push forward, I believe. But that's just where this is my happy place. So I find a lot of joy in all the mark making. Just softening a couple of those. And then you're going to see me go in with the black pencil, and I like to do scribbles, and we're going to do a little bit of that before I leave. I also think this is a lot of fun to do. I did it on my owl piece. I'm going to bring this down a hair, actually. Let me get my lighter wand. I'm going to bring this lightness down just a hair, and you're going to see what I'm going to do. I'm going to tap in, not too heavy. And I love this reverse technique. I'm going to do a little bit of it down here too. Oh, and I really want to fix that flower. Yeah, I have a couple things I want to do. Let me get this going. So you can tap into your black. You can rub it off onto your side here to push it into your tool. And then I start where it's dark, and you can get these really cool reverse textures. I think they're a lot of fun. Really helps with a fun transition. It creates some pattern that's really not taking the focus off of things. And you can see I have not picked up any more black pastel. I'm playing around with it to keep it subtle so it's not so strong. Oh, I really love it right here. That's fun. See? If I didn't push forward, I wouldn't know that. I wouldn't have gotten to have those moments. I wouldn't have had this moment. And if you get where it's not showing up, I just tap in a little bit. find out where it's going to show up. Oh, that's kind of fun. Okay, well, I really like that. That brings me a lot of joy. I can wipe it off and go a little darker and down here. Okay. I have a couple more minutes here. Got like 3 more minutes. I got to show the before and after. I'm remembering today. I wanted to do the final touches on some of these flowers. So I'm trying to think. I think I might go with the purple because it's not going to be too strong. I'm just trying to get my purple. I'm going to try to sharpen up the edge a little bit. It's the brighter purple, so it's a little happy medium. I feel like I still have a little bit to do on the flowers, but I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. And I like to put these little lines. I'm going really light. Like I'm not pushing down. I'm dragging the pencil. And this one has a little bit more of a gap, so I'm going to fill that in a little bit and see how that kind of gives a little bit of a fun, whimsy touch. Oh, it's making me happy, folks. It's making me happy. I feel like this isn't really, I feel like these are just kind of hanging out, like they're not really a part of the piece. So I'm just hitting them a little bit and connecting them to the piece. Okay, so I'm going to put, before we give the grand moment before and after, I'm just going to put a few of my little signature scribbles that I like to put. Oh, I have this right here. That's kind of a, okay, I'm gonna fill this in a bit. It's a little dark of a pencil, but I mean light of a pencil. I can always go over it with some of this darker. And then I wanted to put a few of these little little tufts of happiness. Okay, I'm gonna use the white pencil because this isn't going to be as bright on top, and I'm just gonna put some little dots in here. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys the before and after. And I'll catch up on chat real quick. Now, if anybody is interested in this piece and want to try to claim it before it gets into my Etsy shop, feel free to message me at art@dawnvanderstoep.com, or you can go to my website and fill out my contact form. But I will be putting it in Etsy probably this weekend. So let me get the before and after. And I'm calling this one the Dreamer. So here is where we started today. Oh, well, actually this is where we started today. Let me get it up here. And then this is where all the layering takes you. So you can see up here just the fox and how I took those lines down, brought that sun up there, and underneath, you know, all the highlights and everything, all the lighting, you know, in this piece. And you can see how it's not a stained glass look. It's brought together with the light and the value. And so all of those layering is super powerful to really bring it up as a whole, in the sense of the values and kind of making these connections between all of the colors. That's what I'm using the pencils and all of that to do, is to make those connections. Like even here, like this is really hanging out. This is really just hanging out. All of this kind of looked more of a blob, in the sense of like they weren't connected. And then you go look at them, and now they're just a little bit more connected. And using those pencils also, someone told me the other day, I posted in a group, and they were like, it looks like felt, like needle felting. I'm like, I used to do needle felting all the time. And we've talked about that on Tuesday. One of you guys, I'm trying to remember who was doing that, but it kind of gets that fluffy look with the pencils and the scratching and all of that. So I just really love it. So there's our last look of the before. And the after. I just love sharing the before and after. I think your brain, it can only take in so much, and then I'll get caught up on chat. Okay, let's see. Oh wow, I'm a little way behind. Let me go on the bottom here. Thank you for your kind words about it. I'm going to catch up on chat here. I got the kneaded eraser, and then okay, I thought it was the universe telling me to get in the kitchen. It's Mom's birthday today, and I've asked her to come over for morning tea, making scones with jam. Oh, that sounds wonderful, Michelle. That's really sweet. Oh, thank you, Michelle, for your kind words about being, that you are grateful for where I'm at today. Thank you, Louise, Karen. Katie says, what eraser did you use when you erased the lower bottom left area? Well, that's a great question, Katie. You get an award for all the great questions today in that sense. These are my Vanish, the erasers. Mary Artist carries them. That is what I don't use kneaded erasers on sanded paper at all. The kneaded erasers and all of my eraser work that you guys see with the black PanPastel, I'm using mixed media paper, and you can use all kinds of different erasers and stuff like that. This is specifically for sanded paper, sanded pastel paper. I have to, I don't seal or fix any of my work. It has to be protected behind glass. And that is, I protect it in between two pieces of glassine before I store them away to be shipped. And they can't be, I don't spray them. If you spray them, they will knock down all my whites and my colors. They can change the piece. Some people do spray theirs, but the paper, this paper allows you not to spray them. It's actually advertised as like, you don't need to spray or fix your paper. But yeah, for this paper, I use the Vanish all-in-one eraser. I don't use a kneaded eraser, and I just cut them all down in different sizes, and I have quite a few of them. So that's the one I use. Let's see. Oh, you guys are all really sweet. Nothing else like it on YouTube. Thank you, Chrisella. Happy Dance Dawn. That's really neat, said Michelle Crawford. Michelle, did you pop in here? Michelle Crawford, and I didn't know it? Are you just chatting right now? Welcome. So glad that you're here. I don't see you through chat anywhere. You snuck in here. So glad that you're here. Thank you. So glad that you like it. Louise says she's seeing the rock area like a hand too, like a thumb and the index finger on the fox. Oh, that's kind of cool. Oh, I like that. Oh yeah, I can kind of see that. Neat, like this. The fox dreamer is beautiful. Well done, says Sarah. Michelle says, I'm a great artist and teacher. That's so sweet. Thank you, Michelle. I was cooking and had you on the TV. Oh, I love that so much. Thank you, Audrey, for popping in and saying the kind words that you think it's stunning. Thank you. Well, you guys, it's that time. Can you believe we finished another piece? You know, I went and looked on my calendar. I'm almost 8.5 months on YouTube. I've been having such a great time on this journey. And I would say these last few pieces, I just really feel like I'm coming into a spot that I'm just really excited about. So I hope you enjoy the journey I took you on. And most of all, what I really want out of this channel is I hope you're inspired to show up. And showing up's 90% of the battle. And maybe I've inspired you to pull out those PanPastels, show up, play, explore, and definitely don't take it too seriously. So I will see you guys next Tuesday. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to figure that out. And this month is the largest month. So for all you PanPastel insiders, you will, or Pastel insiders, for the membership, you're getting 5 weeks of content. So I'll see what I'm going to do this next week. And I also have another new thing in the works to share with the members and everything. I'm really excited about that. Yeah, it has been that long. Isn't that crazy, Chrisella? Pearl, I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Louise. All right, you guys, you take care, and I'll talk to you guys next week. And if you haven't subscribed to my newsletter, please do. That's where I inform you all of what's happening and what's going on. You can go to dawnvanderstoop.com, and I will see you guys next week. Take care. Sunny, it's okay.